Hello, grade 5. How are you doing? This is Miss Susan. Today's episode, we will learn how to find a volume for composite figures. Figures mean shapes, and composite mean combined two or more shapes. So we will have more than one shape to find the volume for it. Our lesson is 11.11 and our essential question is:
how can you find the volume of rectangular prisms that are combined?
So we have more than one rectangular prisms and they are combined together, and our job is to find its volume. So let's start and see. Hello weather. Hello all.
Hey there! It certainly has been hot lately. So hot, in fact, our neighbors over here have decided to build a swimming pool. Wow, that's a nice pool. It will even have a deep end that is 2 meters deep and a shallow end that is 1 meter deep. But you know what? I see some three-dimensional figures that look familiar. It kind of looks like two rectangular prisms combined. Maybe that's a clue to finding the solutions. Let's take a look. Come on.
We need to find the volume of this shape. It's a composite two rectangular prism. So this is a rectangular prism and this is a rectangular prism. And we need to find its volume separately. Then we combine them together or stick them together to find the overall volume. And if you remember the volume is the capacity of a 3D shape or the inside space of any 3D shapes. And we have a formula for the volume of any rectangular prism by multiplying the length by the width by the height to find any volume for any rectangular prism. So the formula again for the rectangular prism is by multiplying length by width by height. So let's find out how we can do that. Let's start.
Here's a problem about the volume of a composite figure.
So let's read the example first.
The shape shown is a composite figure. It's made up of two rectangular prisms that are combined. How can you find the volume of the figure? Let's unlock this problem.
What does it mean, the word composite figure? Composite figure means complicated figure. Complicated if it consists of two shapes or more shapes. So this figure is consists of two shapes or two rectangular prisms. So let's unlock this problem and see how we can find the volume to this shape.
First, you need to break apart the solid figure into two rectangular prisms.
So let's cut it from here. It will give me one rectangular prism up and one rectangular prism down, right? So let's unlock and see.
Next, find the length, width, and height of each prism. You need to find the unknown height of the prism on the left. Think, the total height of both prisms is 7 inches. The other given height is 3 inches. Subtract the known height, 3 inches, from the total height, 7 inches.
So again, we need to know the length, the width, the height of every shape. So the first, this rectangular prism, its length is given, width is given, and height is given. However, the second shape, you know, its width is 5, its width is 3, but the height you don't know. So you have to minus 7, the whole length, minus the small length down, or the small height down, which is 3. So 7 minus 3 will give me 4, which is the height of this rectangular prism.
So the unknown height is 4 inches. The next step is to find the volume of each prism. Volume equals length times width times height. So let's work out the volume of the first prism. What's 3 times 5 times 4?
So let's fill this formula. The length here is 3, the width is 5, the height is 4. So if you multiply them together, they will give me 5 times 4 will be 20, 20 times 3 will be 60 inches.
The volume of the prism on the
cubic
left
inches.
is 60 cubic inches. Now find the volume of the other prism. What's 11 times 5 times 3?
It will be 165. Of course, you know the length, the width, and the height. So if you multiply the three numbers together, we'll give you 165
The volume
cubic
of the prism on the
inches,
right
because we
is
measure by cubic units.
165 cubic inches. Finally, add the volumes of the rectangular prisms.
Combine the two dimensions, or the two, volumes together to find the overall volume. So the volume here is 60 cubic inches because we measure by cubic units, and the unit here is inches, plus 165 cubic inches. So the overall volume will be
60 plus 165 equals 225. So the volume of the composite figure is 225 cubic inches.
Let's see another way to solve the problem.
How can you find the volume of this figure? Let's unlock this problem.
Okay, it's the same figure, however we will solve now by minusing. We will minus the whole rectangular prism minus the empty space of an imaginary rectangular prism. So we will minus the whole rectangular prism, minus from it the empty space to find the shaded part or shaded composite shape. So let's unlock and see how we can do that.
You can subtract the volumes of prisms formed in empty spaces from the greatest possible volumes to find the volume of a composite figure. First, find the greatest possible volume. To do that, we need to identify the greatest length, width, and height. What's the greatest length?
The length here of the greatest rectangular prism is 11.
It's 11 inches. What's the greatest width?
The greatest width here is 5 inches.
It's 5 inches. What's the greatest height?
The greatest height of overall shape is 7.
It's 7 inches. Multiply the values to find the greatest possible volume.
So 7 times 5 will be 35. 35 multiplied by 11 will be
The greatest possible volume is
385.
385 cubic inches. Now you need to find the volume of the prism in the empty space. How can you find the length of the empty space? Think
Let's
about it. The
minus the
total
empty
length of
space.
both prisms is 11 inches. The other given length is 3 inches. Subtract the known length, 3 inches, from the total length, 11 inches.
So the length here is 11 minus 3 to give me this whole empty length. So it will be 11 minus 3 equal 8 inches.
So the length of the empty space is 8 inches. Now find the width of the empty space.
The width will be the same here, width, so it will be 5.
It's 5 inches. What's the height of the empty space? 7 minus 3 equals 4. So the height is 4 inches. Now that you know the length, width, and height of the empty space, what's the volume of the empty space?
Multiply them all together. 4 times 5 will be 20. 20 multiplied by 8 will be 160 cubic inches.
It's 160 cubic inches. Finally, subtract the volume of the empty space from the greatest possible volume.
So, minus the greatest possible volume minus the empty space to find the volume of the composite shape. So, 385 minus 160 will give me 225.
385 minus 160 equals 225.
Cubic
So
inches.
the volume of the composite figure is 225 cubic inches.
Let's see another example.
Find the volume of the composite figure. Break apart the solid figure into two rectangular prisms.
So again, the formula of the volume of any rectangular prism is by multiplying length by width by height. We have here different two rectangular prisms, small one and a bigger one. So let's separate them apart to find the volume of each one separately.
What's the height of the first rectangular prism?
The height here is all 6 minus the small height, which is 3. So it will be 6 minus 3, 6 the whole, minus the 3, the small part down, or the small height down. So the other height up is also 3. So the height is 3.
That's right. The height of the rectangular prism is 3 inches. What's the volume of the first rectangular prism?
So let's multiply. 3 times 3 is 9, times 5 will be 45. So again, what are the dimensions of the small rectangular prism? The height is 3, the length is 3 like this one, and the width is 5 like the one here and like the one here. It's all 5 inches. So if you multiply them together, it will give you 45 cubic inches, because we measure volume by counting how many cubic units. So we have 45 cubic units, and the units here are inches, so it will be 45 cubic inches.
That's right. Its volume is 45 cubic inches. What's the volume of the other rectangular prism?
The other rectangular prism, its length is 9, its width is 5, its height is 3. So if you multiply them together, it will give you, okay, 9 times 5 will be 45, 45 multiplied by 3, so it will be 135 cubic inches.
That's right. Its volume is 135 cubic inches. So what's the volume of the composite figure?
The composite figure, you have to combine the two volumes together. 45 plus 135 will give you 180, I guess, cubic inches.
That's right. 45 plus 135 equals 180. So the volume of the composite figure is 180 cubic inches. Let's find the volume of the composite figure. First, you need to divide the figure into two rectangular prisms.
Let's cut the composite shape into two volumes, or two rectangular prisms. So let's cut it from here.
What's the volume of the first rectangular prism?
This rectangular prism has length 8, width 7, and height 2. So if you multiply them together, it will give you 112. Why 112? Because 7 times 8 is 56. Multiplied by 2 will give you 112 cubic inches.
That's right. Its volume is 112 cubic inches. What's the volume of the second rectangular prism?
The length is 4, the width is 3, and the height is 2 inches. So let's multiply the three dimensions together to find the volume. 2 times 3 is equal to 6. 6 times 4 will be 24 cubic inches, and the unit is
That's
in
correct.
inches.
Its volume is 24 cubic inches. Now, enter the volume of the composite figure.
Okay, so let's add them all together to find the composite volume. So if you add, it will give you 136. So let's add it. Cubic
That's
inches.
it. The volume of the composite figure is 136 cubic inches.
Thank you, grade 5, for watching. Hope that you understood the lesson perfectly well.
Volume of the neighbor's pool by combining the volumes of the two prisms. Can't wait for the pool to fill up with water so I can go swimming. Hope to see you there.
Congratulations, grade 5. We finished the book. See you tomorrow with examples and more exercise.